I am often surprised to hear from people who are really smart with their personal finances that they don't understand exactly how using the right credit cards in the right situations can save them hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. And that is the inspiration behind this full review of the American Express Gold Card, a card that is right in the crosshairs that for the right person can save them hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, and also comes with some pretty cool perks in the process. So some people out there view the Amex Gold as a luxury card, and I get it. With a $250 annual fee, and it's a really solid heavy metal card, it gives off the impression of being a luxury card. However, I bet that by the end of this video, you'll not only see it as not necessarily a luxury card, but actually a savvy way to maximize your spending that you already do and get the most value from a credit card. I'm going to make this straightforward and very simple to follow, and we're gonna break this video into just a few parts for the review. The first section we're going to talk about will be earning points, which is a high-level overview of how this card actually works. The second will be following up with card benefits. These are the perks that you get from holding the Amex Gold. After that, I want to talk about redeeming points. This is the most fun part of the video, and it shows you what you can actually do with all of those points and how to maximize value and increase your earnings by spending in a very specific way. Finally, I'll bring out the Max Rewards Calculator, show you the actual value a normal person like you or me could expect in the first year just from holding this card. And then I'll wrap it up with my final verdict, who this card is actually perfect for. So let's jump right into it and talk about earning points. The first category we've got to talk about is the Amex Gold sign-up bonus. Amex Gold is currently offering a 60,000 point sign-up bonus. I will put the first link in the description of this video to take you right to that sign-up bonus, which I personally value at least $600 minimum. But we'll talk later on about exactly how to take that $600 and turn it into something more like $800 or even $1,000 plus of value for you when you're actually redeeming those points. Aside from the sign-up bonus, the second most influential way that you'll consistently earn value out of this card is going to be in spending rewards. These are the multipliers in the different categories that you get when you pay for things with the Amex Gold. The Amex Gold offers a very simple structure in how you earn membership rewards points. You'll get 4x points for groceries up to $25,000 every single year. You'll earn 3x points back on flights and a flat 1x back on every other purchase. So the first thing to think about whenever you hear a multiplier back with this card is to think of it as a percent back. So 4x on dining for an $100 night out turns into about $4 worth of cash back value at a minimum, just to put it into real terms that you could sort of track in your head. Now, the second thing to notice about this reward structure is this is the dining and food card. As a lot of people like to say, if you eat, you need the gold. And it's a little bit more complicated than that, but certainly the Amex Gold is an absolute workhorse for one of almost everybody's highest spending categories, which is any spend on food whatsoever. I want to take a second now and offer a pro tip as it relates to spending on the card. This card unfortunately does not code trips to Walmart or other wholesale clubs like Costco or Sam's as a grocery spend. However, if you do go to a neighborhood Walmart, you will get 4x back on those purchases because that will still code in Amex as a grocery store. Okay, let's talk about card benefits. This card offers 2 significant credits that go along from just holding the card that you get consistently every single year, and then 1 other experience credit, which I'll talk about that is not as big in my mind. The 2 main credits that a lot of people will be able to take advantage though are a $120 dining credit. This credit is divided evenly out among the 12 months to get you $10 a month back at Grubhub, The Cheesecake Factory, Wine.com, Shake Shack, and Gold Belly. The other significant credit you get here is an $120 Uber credit, and this can be used for typical Uber or also Uber Eats. And if you're seeing a similar theme here, you're not the only One, these credits both can be optimized for food spend, and you can essentially turn these into at least 2 free meals a month. I highly recommend spending them on meals if that's in your wheelhouse, and specifically picking up the food orders yourself to maximize those credits. Again, I hope you start to see the practicality of this card as it relates to the food and dining categories. The last credit that you get on this card is an $100 hotel experience credit. This is applied when you book at least a 2-night minimum stay at the hotel collection through the American Express travel portal, and you'll get an $100 credit for any experience offered through that hotel. That could be things like spas or on-site entertainment. So overall, pretty simple so far, right? Well, this is where we get into the fun part of the card. The next section I'm going to talk about is how to redeem points for the absolute most value. I'll tell you every single category you can actually take your hard-earned Amex membership rewards points on and spend them in, but I'll also point out the categories you're going to get the absolute most value, almost like a multiplier on the points you're already earning at elevated reward rates. There are 9 different significant redemption categories that you can place your points into with Amex. Now mentally, while you're listening to all of the places that you can actually spend your hard-earned points, start to judge these on a cent per point basis. In credit cards, generally speaking, earning 1 cent per point is the baseline. If you can earn more than that, you're doing really good. And if you're earning less, you're not really getting max value out of every single point that you earned. Again, it's a case-by-case situation as to what you want to spend your points on, but I know a lot of people want to get the absolute most value, and that's why they're optimizing their credit card setup in the first place. Now, I'll help out here by listing the average cent per point value right beside each category we talk about. The lowest possible rewards category that you could redeem your points at is shopping in the American Express membership rewards store, and you'll be redeeming points at an average value of a ½ cent per point here. The next place you can take your points is use them and essentially redeem them for cash. You'll be getting a 0.6 cent per point value here, so another category I do not recommend. Going slightly up the ladder, you can redeem your points through checkout portals with a few select retailers. Here at Amazon, Best Buy, Dell.com, and Saks Fifth Avenue, you can redeem your points at these retailers for an average value of 0.7 cents per point. We're progressively getting better. The next redemption category is transferring your points to different hotel partners. Now, there is a bit of a range here, but you can expect to find between 0.4 cents per point, which is really, really low, all the way up to 1 cent per point, which is not bad when you transfer your Amex membership rewards points out to the list of hotel partners that they have. In these last 4 categories, we're getting into the sweet spot for points redemption. This is where at minimum you want to be getting the most out of your membership rewards points. Booking what I call other travel inside the Amex membership rewards portal would be rental cars, cruises, vacations. You can get an average redemption of 0.7 to 1 cent per point value in these categories. The next 2 highest, getting you a clean 1 cent per point redemption rate, would be booking flights or other hotels inside the American Express travel portal. This is a very fair value for the points that you're earning. And finally, what I personally recommend is transferring your points out to American Express frequent flyer partners, which you'll earn between 1.2 all the way up to around 2 cents per point in value. This is where it starts to get really crazy. If you're spending and earning 4x back on your food purchases, taking those points and then earning 2 cents per point, you're almost getting what is equivalent to about 8% cash back in value on this card. That's when you start to see it getting really good, but that's when you're redeeming your points specifically for the highest value categories. Now you're probably wondering why anybody would redeem these points for anything less than a 2 cent per point value. Well, the simple answer to that is it's all about convenience and accessibility. A lot of times these deals are out there, but they may not match your schedule, and you may not want to go through the legwork of actually finding them and maximizing your points. In that case, it's totally fine to just book through the travel portal and earn a fair value for your points. But if you really want to find the best deals and stretch your money as far as you can, well, I highly recommend doing the little bit of extra legwork to transfer them out to partners and finding those great deals. Now, here's the kicker. Let's bring out the Max Rewards Calculator. This is a practical tool created on this channel that we like to use in complete review videos just to see how much potential value cards hold for people like you and me, a single person in the first year of use. I'm taking data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics that I'll throw up on the screen right now. And as you can see, the typical single person spends about $33,190 a year on expenses that can be charged to a credit card. I've broken these expenses down specifically to include the amounts that American Express Gold earns enhanced points on, which are again, groceries, dining, and flights. Using these typical spending numbers, just charging the Amex Gold to your normal purchases, you can expect to earn about $521 back in Amex Rewards points. Now again, we're taking the baseline value here, so you can always expect more if you're looking to maximize these points out above 1 cent per point. However, that's not all. The 60,000 point sign-up bonus is again worth at least $600. And don't forget about the Uber credit or the $120 dining credit either, because both of those are very practical and easy to use. I'm not going to include the $100 hotel experience credit because that's a little bit more difficult to access, and a lot of people who hold and love this card still don't use that on a yearly basis. This brings our total value on the card now up to $1,361. Now you can't forget that the Amex Gold has a $250 annual fee, so we've got to subtract that out. But still, doing that brings the effective annual value of this card to $1,111 in the first year. Now that's the minimum value. Just for fun, I looked at what you could find if you'd actually maximize those points. If you're getting around 2 cents per point transferring out to the flyer partners, you could expect a value of up to $2,231 on this card. Now, again, I understand that not everybody's spending matches this example, and not everybody will be finding maximum value, but it's great to understand the potential impact that this card can have. All right, let me offer a few final thoughts and a little bit of perspective on getting this card. The first thing to know is that a lot of Amex fans consider the Amex Gold an essential in their credit card portfolio. Even if building out a portfolio of credit cards sounds intimidating to you, and that would be maximizing 2 or 3 cards and spending specifically in certain categories to get the most rewards you can, a lot of fans of the Amex Gold will just carry that card as their only credit card, and that's because they spend so much a year on food purchases that they feel they get the most value out of this setup and then spending in the Amex membership rewards points. Now the impact gets even greater when you start to add at least a partner on the card and you're buying food for 2, or even a family after that, because that is one of the expenses that continues to accelerate the more people that are making use of the card. However, with a $250 annual fee, you've got to consider the long-term value of this card and whether you'll potentially be getting it just for the sign-up bonus and first-year impact, or you can see yourself using this year after year after year. If that's the case and you want to use it over a big time horizon, I would heavily consider if you can make use of the Uber credit or the dining credit every single month, so you're reducing that effective annual fee down to something that's not really too noticeable. The goal is always to continue normal spending habits and maximizing value with your credit card to get the most out of it, to make the card work for you and not the other way around. Now, the last point that I want to offer on this card is that for new credit card users, transferring points can be complicated and really quite intimidating. The good thing to know about American Express, though, is they make it pretty much as easy as possible. They have more transfer partners than Chase and Capital One, and they've got some of the most sensible transfer partnerships, which means especially if you're living in the United States, you're usually able to find pretty good value and places or airlines you'd like to use to actually book those trips or make those stays. That's an important factor, especially if you're early on in the game and Amex has you covered with a strong lineup there. Now that we're at the end of this video, I hope that you can picture whether this card could really benefit you or if it doesn't optimize for the areas that you spend the absolute most in. If you have other questions, I'll be sure to get back to them right away down below in the comments. And if you're still on the hunt for your next credit card and the Amex Gold just isn't it, go ahead and watch another complete review on 2 videos I'll drop at the end.